Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us here in the Fan Cave. This is where we talk sports every single night of the week, 7 nights a week. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. Hit me up on X at KDPomp if you would like to do that. We have a lot going on, and we'll start, of course, with the Penguins, who were outstanding again today. And I think it's really impressive that this team won today the way they did, 5-0, a complete whitewash, really, of the Vegas Golden Knights. And what makes it more impressive to me is that yesterday the Penguins were in New York, MSG, taking on the Rangers, had a 2-0 lead, let that one slip away. They lost in a shootout but got a point, had to fly back to Pittsburgh. Vegas, on the other hand, was sitting in Pittsburgh waiting for them. And so they should have been the team that came out and took it to them early. They did have an early advantage. Artur Shilov did a good job shutting the door on many of their chances. And then the Penguins just got better as the game went on. Special teams continues to do well. 2 power play goals. They've been outstanding killing off penalties. And then 5-on-5 play has been excellent. So the Penguins made it look rather clinical today as they win 5-0. And in doing so, move into second place once again. Now, they still have 3 games in hand on teams like Washington. I think it's 2 on the Islanders. They still have a lot of hockey left. And coming up this week, it won't be easy. They have a game at Boston on Tuesday. Then they have Buffalo here on Thursday. And then 2 more back-to-back home games next weekend. And that'll be the Flyers on Saturday, the Bruins again after that on Sunday. Then they hit the road for a big 5-game road trip. Bookends. Carolina on the road to start and finish that road trip in between its trips to Utah, Colorado, and Vegas. So that won't be easy. And certainly as many points as you can get over the next several weeks are going to be important as they get down the stretch. And they're now 2-0-1 without Sidney Crosby. It's an amazing stat when you think about it. How the Penguins have done historically without Crosby, who's their best player by far, the guy who leads this team, in so many different categories. But, I think yesterday you saw why they need probably at this trade deadline coming up to pick up somebody who can win more faceoffs at center. They had a hard time doing that against the Rangers. They lost a lot of them. And until Crosby gets back, which may not be until at the end of March or early April, I would think, then they're going to need someone else to pick up the slack there. But that's one of the few problems they are having right now is they're kind of playing a really good brand of hockey. They're limiting shots on goals nightly to teams. They don't make it overly crazy to be a goaltender in Pittsburgh like sometimes it used to be when the Penguins would give up 45 shots in a game and play up and down hockey. They have a structure. They have a system. It's a good one installed by Dan Muse, and Kyle Dubas has done some great things. Chinakhov had a goal again today. What can you say about him? 10 goals in 21 games since he got here. Ben Kindle, at 18 years of age, continues to thrive, got his 15th goal. Just so many great moves that have led this team into where they are right now. And I think it's a legitimate playoff team. And I'll ask a further question based on how they are playing. And if it continues this way, how damaging could they be in the playoffs to other teams? I think they could be a really tough out. They have 2 really good goaltenders right now. Shilovs is playing better than Skinner, but both have been good all the way through the stretch. They have a young guy down at Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and Sergei Murashov, who's playing well. So is Joel Blomqvist. So they have a kind of an embarrassment of riches there for at least now, and they may end up making a trade. Who knows, to give an opportunity to Murashov. Would you want to see that right now, given the way they're playing and given the rotation at goal at 412-575-2600? Also coming up this week, it's going to be the World Baseball Classic. I'm curious to get your take on this because Paul Skeens is going to compete, and several other Pirates will be in different teams. But, given what we saw in the Olympics, Kevin Fiala of the Kings lost for the year because of a bad injury. We saw Sidney Crosby get injured. He's lost for 4 weeks. Coming back here, Paul Skeens is going to pitch in this. And, he obviously wants to. But the trick with this is it happens so early in spring training as opposed to in the middle of the season like the Olympics that some of these guys are not ramped up yet to play. So how much do you expect? And is the injury risk increased for guys like Paul Skeens? I saw that Tarek Skubal, who won 2 Cy Youngs with the Tigers, he's at the end of a contract, so he's going to make 1 start and that's it. I guess it depends on who you are and what you want. They're not going to stand in your way, but it could be risky, knowing that you're going to have to ramp up this early and also knowing that the Pirates want Skeens to be a 200-inning pitcher if they can get it this year because it's his 3rd year and he's proven he can do that. we have that. We have a lot of other stuff to talk about after the NFL Combine, but this is your place to sound off, so we'll open up the phone lines at 412-575-2600. We'll take those calls coming up next. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call 7 nights a week right here on KDKA Plus, and most nights 93.7 The Fan. Welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from Major League Baseball Pipeline with 3 homers. Connor Griffin has the most spring dingers by a teenager in at least the past 20 years. And yes, the Pirates' #1 prospect, 19-year-old Connor Griffin, hit another one today. That's 3 so far this season, all of them well over 400 feet. And the question will be eventually, does he make this opening day roster, or does he go back to AAA? And then eventually, would the Pirates be interested in signing him, or with a potential work stoppage at the end of this year, would they hold off on that? I'd love to hear what you say at 412-575-2600. We also have tweets tonight, as I said, at KD Pump, rumble.com. The top says, Bob, I'm starting a small sports show tomorrow. Do you have any advice? And one of my topics will be goalie interference after what we saw yesterday in New York City. Should we go back to the skate in the crease rule or not? You know, that's a tough one. That's a good question, too, because if you saw that play yesterday, I thought Igor Shesterkin was the man who initiated contact with Anthony Mantha. I don't think Mantha had any desire to do anything except stand there and get a potential rebound. When they challenged that, it was a Penguins goal. I said, there's no way the Rangers are going to win this challenge, but they did. It's a subjective thing. Do you want to go back to if you have your blue skate in the crease, it's automatically going to be overturned? I don't want to go that far necessarily, but I think it's pretty obvious to me when you see goalie interference versus when you don't. Yesterday was not goalie interference. I don't care how they try to explain it to me. It wasn't. It was Shesterkin who initiated the contact. It was not Mantha. You can tell when there's interference and you can tell when there's not. 412-575-2600. Let's get right to it. We got a lot of people on the lines, beginning with Tom in Crafton. Hello, Tom. How are you?
Hi, Bob. I'm good. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for calling. What's up?
All right, thank you. Before I get to the Penguins, I've got to give a shout-out to Gene Collier today. He wrote a great column on Billy Mazeroski. I don't know if you saw it.
Heard about it. I have to read it, but anything Gene does, I'm a fan of. He's a tremendous writer.
Yeah, he's super, but you got to read it. So, but in the meantime, the Penguins looking fairly good, or I should say real good right now. I mean, who would have thought that here on March the 1st that they'd be knocking on the top of the division? Aside from the, being a playoff contender. But I think Kyle Dubas is playing it real smart. He's literally been picking the pockets of some of these other GMs. If you look at the deal that he made and the draft choices after, I'm trying to think here, Kulak, when traded Kulak and brought in Gerard.
Got another second-round pick, too.
Yeah, exactly. And they mentioned also the goalie who's escaping my name.
Artur Shilas.
No. The
Stuart Skinner.
Traded. No, the guy that he traded to get the.
Oh, Jari.
Yeah, I couldn't think of. Sorry.
Yeah, he's not having a good time in Edmonton right now. He's under a lot of pressure, and they're giving up a lot of goals, Tom. So, yeah, that one produced, as it turns out, Stuart Skinner, along with Sam Girard and 2 second-round picks. If I had told you at the beginning of this they get 2 second-round picks and 2 legit players for Tristan Jarry, you would have thought there's no way, but he did. The Chinakov move has been outstanding. As I said, with 10 goals in 21 games, you're going to want to sign him up, I would imagine, fairly soon, just because he's one of the quickest releases of anyone in the NHL right now. And so, and he gave up, Danton Heinen to Columbus. That wasn't, I like Danton Heinen as a player on a third or fourth line, but they have some guys here already doing that on a regular basis. Their fourth line in this city right here with the Penguins is probably as good as any in the NHL right now. Let's go to Mark in Whitehall. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Am I crazy for thinking this, but I think our offense, if they all stay healthy, that we have 5 guys that can hit 25-plus homers. What do you think?
All right, so you're going to include Griffin in this, I imagine, right?
Nope.
No Griffin? So you got Cruz, Reynolds.
Yep.
Ozuna? I guess Ozuna, yeah, if he's healthy, he can do that. Brandon Lau and Ryan O'Hearn.
And O'Hearn.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. They can do that. And if you add Griffin to the mix, that's what's exciting about this team. And I do think there's a big sense of excitement in the city right now about the Pirates and what they can do. Their pitching has to be good. Now, I will tell you that I think today's baseball is more about bullpens than anything else. You got to get a good starting. Yeah, you need an ace. That's Skeens. You need a good guy like Keller who can take innings. But everybody else is probably going to be going 5 or 6 innings. Ashcraft's second year, they're going to probably be careful with him. Same is true of Bubba Chandler and anyone else they include in that, if it's Hunter Barco or anyone else. So the bullpen is big, and they have put together, I think, a pretty good bullpen as well. So, yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about the Pirates this year, which brings us to Chuck in Uniontown. Hey, Chuck, thank you for calling us tonight.
Yeah, thanks again, Bob. Bob, are you concerned about what appears to be a lack of Pirate defense, particularly up the middle? And also, do you think that if the Pirates have the lead in the late innings of the game, they will make defensive substitutes? Because that to me appears to be a problem. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it's a reverse problem what the Pirates have had. They've been pretty good fielders, but they couldn't hit the last several years. So, yeah, I mean, I don't expect, Gonzalez at short and Lau at second to be winning Gold Gloves. I don't. I think Triolo can, and I think Triolo, he can be the third baseman if you have this much offense on this team. I can live with that for now. But I think Horowitz is okay at first when he plays there. I think Henry Davis has turned out to be a pretty good catcher. Cruz up the middle, he's playing center field. He led them in errors last year. So all of that has to get better, right? I don't expect Gold Gloves, but I expect better performances. And if they hit, then I'm not going to care so much about it at all. Joe in North Braddock joins us right now. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Very good, Bob. How you doing yourself?
I'm good. Beautiful night here. Let's go. What do you got?
So I was at the game today for the Penguins and watched a great game, but I heard some interesting rumors about the goalies. We got great goalies down in the lower half, and we got ones up here that can't seem to win shootouts, and shootouts are going to be a thing of the future.
But they won't be there in the postseason, though, Joe, which is good. You don't have to deal with shootouts.
Well, I know they won't be there then, but again, we're goalie heavy, and I'm hearing trades. That's what I'm waiting for.
Well, it just depends on how you break this down. Like, Murashov's going to be their future goaltender. He's playing well, but we've seen a little bit of him up here, and what we've seen is okay. Nothing. I obviously AHL has been much better. But here's the thing: Skinner and Shilovs are doing a pretty good thing. If this team continues to roll along here, and these two guys continue to alternate and do well, I don't know if I necessarily want to break them up. I don't. Skinner is at the end of a deal. You're going to have to deal with him becoming a free agent. But if he's playing well, he's a good locker. Everybody in that room likes him a lot. Shilovs was a great acquisition. We've talked a lot about Chinakhov, and we've talked about the Jari trade and other things that Kyle Dubas has done. But don't forget that he got Shilovs away from Vancouver, and that's a big move. He's only 24 years old, and he's playing really well right now. So I don't know. That's going to be a tough question. We'll find out the answer. The trade deadline is coming up on Thursday, and they have to decide what they're going to do. I don't expect now a big splash. I expect somebody to come in because they need help at center. They need someone to come in, while Crosby's out. You certainly can't. I think you got to have as much defense depth as you can possibly get in the playoffs. Typically, teams are going to go through 6 to 8 defensive defensemen throughout a playoff run if you're going to be in it for a while. So I think you can add one more there as well. Steve in Rochester, you're up right now. What's up, Steve? How are you? Steve? Hello, Steve. Are you there? All right. I thought you were there, Steve. You're not. Robert Young Jr. on Twitter says, hey, Bob, do you think the Pirates are still going to bring in a third baseman? I don't think so now, Robert. I mean, what they've done, they haven't acquired anyone, and I don't know who else is available out there unless they make a trade like we've talked about with the Mets. But that doesn't seem to have any kind of, heating up right now. So I don't know if they're going to make it. They're probably just going to stick with Triolo there for start. If they have to make some sort of adjustment as the year goes on, we'll see. But no, I don't think you're going to see them make a trade, at least not now. Again, I think if I'm the Pirates, another position we have to sort of figure out what's going on is a catcher. Henry Davis is going to make the team. And they have some other guys behind him. I think Andy Rodriguez has had a really good start to this season down in the spring. So is he going to be the guy up here or not? Or will it be Flores or, whoever else they can figure out? Joey Bart's still on the roster. So you're going to want to figure out what goes on. We had a poll tonight we're going to tell you about. And when you see it, it's about Miami Redhawks, okay? It's up there right now. Should Miami make the NCAA tournament if they don't win their conference tournament? Yes or no? And here's the reason this is up. So Miami's ranked 21 right now in college basketball, right? We're going into the tournament. In the Mid-American Division Conference, they are 29-0. They haven't lost all year. But they haven't played Quad 1 teams. I think they played only one Quad 2 team. Their strength of schedule is terrible. But they're 29-0, and they're ranked. Auburn has a problem with this. Bruce Pearl, whose son now coaches Auburn, he was quoted today as saying this, quote, if they are selecting the 68 best teams, then Miami is going to have to win their tournament to qualify as a champion because as an at-large, they should not get in. Do you agree with that? If they go 20, let's say they win 3 more games than lose in the conference final, and they go 33-1 or whatever. Should they not be a team in the tournament? Let me know. 412-575-2600 is the number. We're going to take a break, come back, and we'll answer that question with you right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. All right, welcome back. Talking about the NCAA tournament next week. Actually, this week, the NEC or the Horizon. I got to keep NEC is now the Horizon. The Horizon League, where Robert Morris has been dominating of late. They're going to have a chance to win that and get an automatic spot as they did last year in the NCAA tournament. And then next week, all the other tournaments, many of them will begin, including the Atlantic 10, when they begin action at PPG Paints Arena. So Duquesne has a shot there. They've been playing well enough to win some of these games. I don't know if they can win that conference, but we'll see. It'll be here in Pittsburgh. Pitt has still a chance to get into the ACC tournament. Man, they're making it hard on themselves. Got a couple of games left, and right now they're on a bubble. They may not even make it to Charlotte. We'll see what happens there. But I mentioned that thing about Miami Redhawks only because Auburn has one of the toughest schedules, one of the best strength of schedules in the country, and they're currently a bubble team. Bruce Pearl, speaking on behalf of his son, thinks they should be in more so than Miami based on the strength of schedule. So that's a debate we have every single year, and we'll have it again as we get closer to March Madness. We got one other tweet I want to get to. Michael P. Lee is saying, I don't like the World Baseball Classic. Look at when Edwin Diaz got hurt on the mound celebrating the last tournament he was out for the season for the Mets. Well, there's always the injury risk, and that's why I brought up Skeen's pitching in this thing. And it starts this week. So we will see. A lot of people are anxious to see it. It's some of the best against the best, but it also is early before they ever really get started in spring training, just a few games in, and here they are in some high leverage stuff at the Baseball World Classic. That's going to do it. Join us tonight, 11:35, number 1 Cochran Sports Showdown, KDKA. We have a lot to talk about with Ray Fittipaldo, Will Graves, and Brian Batko. We'll see you then. Have a good night.